Were they not to miss their chance of the house? At the back of their minds, no doubt, was the worrying thought that some official of the Commissioners of Crown Lands might submit the name of a prospective tenant whom the king would find it difficult to refuse. In the records of the early 30s, one can sense the flurry of danger and a haste to make an inspection, as if a pair of inexperienced young house hunters had been warned by an estate agent that other viewers were interested. It made no difference that the house hunters were the most popular couple in Britain. They unexpectedly hurried south from a Scottish castle to a shuttered and dust-sheeted Piccadilly mansion that could be only partly opened up for their stay of a night or two. They set out from a mansion in search of a cottage, but with such glowing hope and anxiety that the early September morning became burnished for ever afterwards as one of the decisive and special days of a lifetime. If recollections are reliable, they drove in the Duke's Astor Sports Saloon, which so often waited at the garden gate at the back of 145 Piccadilly. At this exit, they could escape unseen into the park, in preference to the front cobbled forecourt of their London home, where every movement attracted public attention. They drove westward from London, through the tram-clogged suburbs of Hammersmith and Chiswick, and along the new wing of the Great West Road, past the dentifrice factories, past the new estates of semi-detached £495 houses and the signboards that proclaimed easy repayments and low deposits. They drove through a perimeter landscape where forlorn 18th century inns on their last leases were flanked by abandoned orchards and decaying barns, past flat and unpeopled cabbage fields where was heard as yet no whisper of London Airport. It was a rural scene in the desolate throes of transition to urban subtopia, and the travellers necessarily raced ahead in imagination, seeking relief to the spirit amid the glades of Windsor Great Park. The Duke and Duchess knew every inch of the road, chiefly from visits to Fort Belvedere, and yet that day's journey was spiced by adventure, the excitement of an impending decision that might bring an incalculable train of future events. No one recognised the young couple, save for the casual glance now and then, congealing to an astonished, intense stare that has become the modern homage of royalty in our time. The little Duchess, petite and blue-eyed, still could not meet that startled, mesmerised gape without almost irrepressible amusement. 8 years of marriage had still not effaced her sense of ludicrous unreality. Her husband was less susceptible and less readily identified. His photograph in pallid monochrome seldom suggested to newspaper readers the taut, sun-tanned good looks of the youngish man at the wheel. Besides, the celebrity of King George V's second son was a pale glimmer of the incandescent adulation and public attention constantly focused on his elder brother, the Prince of Wales. The Duke of York had reached his 36th year, tempered by training and inclination to his secondary role, and was modestly, incredulously, unaware of the affection that his own example of domestic happiness had won from the nation. So they came to the bridge across the Thames, at Staines, more delectable with country air then than now. So to Staines, as Pepys said, and got a guide who lost his way in the forest, till, by help of the moon, which recompenses me for all the pains I ever took about studying of her motions, I led my guide into the way back again. And so we made a man rise that kept a gate, and so he carried us to Cranbourne, where in the dark I perceive an old house, new building, with a great deal of rubbish, and was fain to go up a ladder to Sir G. Carteret's chamber, and there in his bed I sat down and told him all my bad news, which troubled him mightily, but yet we were very merry, and made the best of it, and being myself weary did take leave, I to bed in my lady's chamber that she uses to lie in, and where the Duchess of York, that now is, was born. So to sleep.